What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in to hang out with me today while I talk about Marvel Rivals for a little bit. First question I have for you guys is, did you notice it? Have you noticed what's on this screen right now? Look at that. Grandmaster 3. I did it. I cannot believe I have been playing solo queue and maining Jeff, and I am now in Grandmaster 3. I am just like, I am hyped. I've been just going off in competitive games, playing super well. I'm on a really strong, these are some quick matches here, but I am on a very strong competitive streak. I'm actually right now, I think this makes 11 competitive wins in a row. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 11 competitive wins in a row. Like, oh my gosh, this is just nuts. I don't even know what to think right now. Like, something's happening. It clicked for me, and I'm going for it. I guess next stop is, what's next, Celestial? Next stop is Celestial, so I'll keep you guys updated on that, but oh man, I'm feeling real good right now. I haven't been putting out a ton of videos lately. I say that I've missed a couple days. I try to do one video a day, but I've been watching the Marvel Rivals Ignite tournament a lot. So I've been spending some of my free time like doing that and like catching up on the games, because I really want to see what these higher level gameplay, situations look like, who they're picking, what heroes are they prioritizing for pick and for banning, because I think that it's extremely relevant to who I'm going to work on for flexing different roles, so that I can, as I move up in the ranks, be able to play more roles super efficiently, so I can really like hone in on what the team needs and make changes, because it's just extremely important to be able to do so. Extremely important. So I've been focusing a lot on that because it is a great opportunity to learn. So what I actually want to do today is talk about how that gameplay affects the way that I've been looking at hero priority as well as ban priority. And now I know it's easy to say, like, in the higher tournament style gameplay, like there's high level of communication, there's tons of practice, they're working more off of synergies, they're doing targeted bans against the teams that they're playing against, they're able to do protection bans as well, so they can make it so that a hero cannot be banned. It is a little different, right? It's different in the tournament than it is in competitive, but if you're thinking about the longevity of your gameplay and your skill level, I think it's important to realize who are the higher potential heroes to be spending your time playing. Because if you're like me and you don't have, all day, every day to play this game, it's really important to look into who you should be spending your time on. So we're going to hop into like a little bit of a tier list here that I'm structuring based on priority and based on ban priority. But before we do so, if you could just take a second to hit that subscribe. I'm nearing that 1,000 sub mark. I'm so excited about it. If you're enjoying videos, about Marvel Rivals or tier lists or gameplay, I'm going to start doing some more gameplay and some more live streams as well here. Hit that subscribe button. It's free to do so, and I would love to have you guys on board for this. So let's hop into the tier list. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, we're not going to like nickel and dime the heroes here. I really just want to get into this on how I feel right now. Something that has become very apparent when we're looking at the tournament gameplay right now is that the ban priority very rarely falls on a duelist. And the reason being is that, look, there are so many of them. If you ban Hela, they're just going to pick another duelist that does the same thing. They're just going to have Punisher instead. You ban Punisher, they're just going to pick Hela. You ban Star-Lord, they're going to pick Psylocke. It kind of just doesn't really do any good to be spending time on bans unless you know that somebody on the other team is like the best, Hela in the game, the best Psylocke in the game, whatever it is. But then again, in the tournament play, they can save themselves from that ban. So it kind of just feels like the real like movers and shakers of the tournament gameplay, the real difference makers, are the Vanguards and the Strategists. There's a smaller pool of them, right? So you have less to work with. So if you're getting rid of the better ones, you can really cripple a team. And I think that this is a really relevant thing to think about when you're playing in competitive, because you're not playing against the top tier players. You're not playing against that 1%, right? You're playing against, a lot of average level gamers that have a good competitive sense to them and a good level of hero mastery under their belt. But the ability to flex, I think, is usually lost to some degree within the just general competitive gameplay. Not everybody has, 5, 6, 7, 10 different heroes they can equally flex with. They have, 1 or 2 really good ones. And more often than not, I would say that you're usually seeing that be the tanks or the strategists. Like, the duelists are just so interchangeable. It doesn't feel like banning them really does any good. And I felt that way as well as far as competitive goes. Like, I never ban duelists. Never. Absolutely not. Like, I can say that with 100% certainty. I don't. I'm always right now trying to ban Luna and Ultron. That is who I want to see out of every single game that I play. Whoever the other 2 people are that get banned from the enemy team, I don't care. Ban whoever you want. I want these 2 out. They are very overpowered, and together, it's even worse. Like, I know this is really like a flyer and poke meta that we're feeling right now, but it comes down to the strategist. You can deal with Iron Man by himself. You can deal with Storm by herself. Once you throw Ultron into the mix, it changes things completely. And once you throw Luna into the mix, it makes the tanks just so strong. Like, it makes dealing with Magneto and Strange even more difficult. So for me personally, these are my like number 2, but we're also seeing that. We are also seeing that in the tournament. So I would say if we wanted to look at like purely highest priority, and I'm not talking about like from tournament standpoint, I'm just talking about the longevity of your gameplay and like the skill ceiling that you should be aiming to hit so that you can rank up faster and farther. That's what's going to be in this highest priority. Now, in the past, I've talked about high priority or like god tier characters being ones that have the highest level of utility, and there's a lot of truth to that. There's a lot of reasoning behind that makes sense. But if you just want to think about the game for a second as like, every hero's just a number, what are those most important numbers to have on your team? I would say highest priority, and we'll start with the Vanguards. It's going to be Magneto, Emma, Strange, you can argue Hulk. I'm not saying don't pick him. I'm going to say he's not, I kind of want to put him up there, but I'm not going to. Groot and Captain America. Captain America is still extremely valid. And this has been proven in the tournament gameplay. As long as you have somebody that's capable of paying attention to him and being able to pocket heal him, if you do have Luna, if you do have Ultron, and you can get the drone on him or the frost healing, it validates it. He is so strong. The presence he creates on the field, the disruption of the back line, it's still extremely valid. He did get nerfed. He is a little bit easier to deal with, but it has been proven that he is still very, very relevant right now. We're even seeing Thing getting picked in the tournament. We're seeing Venom. I don't know that I've seen a game when Thor was picked, truthfully, or Penny. I'm sure they have. I'm sure that they have. I just haven't, I guess, maybe seen those games. So if you have, let me know. I just haven't seen them. And Hulk gets picked every now and again. I would say I've seen Hulk about as often as I've seen Thing, but they're there. And look, these 3, and even Groot, honestly, the ordering of this feels pretty valid. Strange is obviously getting picked for the portals. It's a game saver. It changes the outcome of games, being able to portal in and just get that one last attempt at taking the objective when without him you would not have made it there in time. There's a lot of validity to that, and you don't need to play him all game. You switch to him when the time is right. But we're seeing protected on these 2. People are denying the bans of these 2 tanks, which I would say arguably makes it pretty clear that those are the 2 best tanks in the game. Like, truthfully, the 2 best tanks. I don't see anybody banning Groot. These are like the ban priority, which, so I would say as far as tanks are concerned, this is the highest priority without a doubt. For the duelists, highest priority I would say falls to Torch, not in any specific order purposefully here. This happened to just kind of fall into order, I suppose, but I'm not really trying to do an ordering, especially not considering all of them being in one row. So anyway, Hela's being picked a lot. We're seeing a lot of Bucky. We're seeing Storm. We're seeing Punisher. We're even seeing Scarlet Witch as well. Wolverine is a strong pick. I did not expect to see as much Wolverine as I've been seeing. Psylocke, yes. We're even seeing Moon Knight. I would say that would be the highest priority if I'm recalling all the games correctly that I have been seeing. Moon Knight has been a low priority, but we have seen it played. It is a lot of damage. You're able to farm your ult super fast. I think that's really the play. with Moon Knight is just trying to fire off as many ults as you possibly can and try to couple that with other damage dealing ults that are coming in around the same time, like Bucky's or Storms or even Punishers, just to add that extra little bit of damage to make sure that you're finishing those eliminations. Because with really good healing on the team, because we are seeing a lot of triple res going on, we're seeing Adam, you need to make sure that you're able to pull off getting those eliminations. You need to make sure that it actually happens. What I'll do here, I forgot I made this little revolving duelist thing here. So this is what I meant for this one. I wanted to put these down here. This is more or less like the revolving set of duelists that we're seeing being played, and not in any particular order, but these seem to be the ones that are making the biggest show. Not to say we're not seeing the other ones, like actually Star-Lord can go up here too. I forgot about him. We're seeing some of the other ones, like we're seeing Squirrel Girl, we're seeing Iron Man sometimes, we're seeing some Namor. I even saw one of the Asia teams playing Iron Fist today. And we do see Magic pop in and out. Some of the value that we've seen from Magic has been like swapping to Magic during a portaling moment, because you do get a little bit of extra value, I think, from her being able to take that portal and then portaling yourself all over the place. You can get some really quick damage. You can get away from like the big fight that happens right at where the portal opens up and just get to the outer edge safely, and then try to pin down the strategist a little bit. So we have seen that. And that's a really strong strategy, a really strong play to make. But I would say these would be the most important. Like, look, there's so many of them. And if one of them gets banned, it's like you have so many other amazing opportunities to pick from. These two, like if I did want to order these, I don't know, it's dangerous to order this because it's so situational. But these two, I would say, have really been making a strong show. Like, truthfully, I would say that they would. Psylocke as well. Like, if we wanted to move some of the duelists up here into highest priority, like I had them before, I would say we would do something like this. I feel like that is a pretty safe statement to make, that those would be the four that are seeing the most playtime and also making the most difference right now. And then for the strategists, Loki is always banned. But that says something, right? That makes him clearly a high priority pick. We're just not seeing him get played too often because he's getting banned and nobody's bothering to save him, because what's happening is you're seeing both of these two banned. So it's like, do you play the save on one of them because this is really the overpowered situation? You could say the same for Invis. We're seeing some Rocket, not as much Rocket as I would have guessed. We're seeing a lot more Cloak and Dagger. And then Adam, Mantis, we're seeing Ultron, and we're even seeing Jeff. Like, I'm not trying to say like I'm putting all of the strategists in high priority, because like straightforward, they are the highest priority. But this seems to be like the biggest like bit of relevance to a team as far as like who you're playing as is concerned. We're seeing a lot of 3 strategist games being played, and I'm surprised we don't see that more in competitive. I think so many people are just locked into the concept that it's got to be 2-2-2. It's just not the case. It truthfully is not. And I think a lot of that comes down to identifying when you need one duelist or not, or when you need 2 tanks or not. Because I mean, Magneto can solo tank. He really can. You can even argue that Strange can solo tank or Groot can solo tank. So why not throw another strategist in there just to really make that happen, right? If you've got 3 strategists, it's already hard enough to take down Magneto, but with 3 of them, it's even more difficult. And then you can really hone in on having, the duelist characters be ones that fill a specific need for that team. Are you having a hard time with their tanks? Okay, let's get Wolverine in here. Are you having a hard time with flyers? Let's do Punisher, or you can do Hela. I just think it's really important to look at the tournament gameplay and, yes, acknowledge the fact that this is the top tier, but to be able to look at that and say, how can I bring this to my competitive play? That's what's going to set you apart. So I don't want to hear the excuse, though, this is the tournament play. These are the highest tier players. This isn't regular competitive. It should be. It should be regular competitive. If you have this knowledge, how can you not bring that into your play? How can you not bring one of these heroes into your lobby and say, you know what, I'm going to spend a week in quick play and just really master one of these like game-changing heroes so that I can have a higher impact in my competitive gameplay. Like how can you not do that? This is how you take that next step. We have the information in front of us. You can go watch the games on the Marvel Rivals YouTube page. You can play them back. You can watch these top tier players play these different heroes. You can watch how they enter their team fights, how they manage the team fights, how things happen, who they're targeting, how they do everything, you know, and that's an incredible learning opportunity. So I'm just trying to organize this visually for you based on what I'm seeing to say, like, if you are going to be trying to push rank, like I'm trying to push rank, you're trying to learn as much as you can about this game because, hey, maybe you want to play in one of the tournaments one day. This is extremely important to think about. All of the strategists are so valid. I know there's that whole thing about strategists being the easiest role in the game to play, and, you know, strategist players are trash or whatever that dude said about them. It's the most important. Like, truthfully, it is. If you don't have good healing, you will lose. If your healers are constantly being dove and eliminated and taken off the map, the rest of your team cannot survive. It is extremely important to have one or two of these under your belt as a go-to for you, and you are very like fluid in the understanding of how to use them and how to interchange them and who to play at different times. It's extremely, extremely important to understand how good these strategists are and how they each fill roles like a little bit differently, right? So there's not a one strategist fits all, I don't think, unless, you know, maybe Cloak you could say for that, but the others serve very unique purposes, and I think it's really important to make sure that you can play some of them super well. I'm going to stand by this high priority list, and this is purely based on what I'm telling myself. This is what I'm going to start bringing to my lobbies. I'm going to work on Magneto. I'm already pretty good with Emma. I'm not good with Strange or Magneto. I need to spend some time on these two. I have a very good grasp on Emma's playstyle and skill use. I'm going to work on these two. I'm going to also work more on Punisher. I'm pretty good with Punisher now, but I am going to spend some time on Wolverine as well. You have the ability to really change how the lobby feels by bringing a strong Wolverine into it. And then as far as the strategists go, like I'm pretty good with a lot of them. I would say, like, obviously I'm going to continue to really hone in my Jeff skills, but I'm doing super well with him right now. I'm definitely changing the outcome of games, but I would say I do want to spend, I'm also very good with Rocket. I do want to spend some time on Invis, and I do want to spend some time on these two as well. I don't really like the flyer play style, so like I'm just not going to spend time learning Ultron. He's extremely good. But he does get banned quite often, so I'm just gonna focus on these two because they never get banned, and that way I know I can bring that to the table if I need. So that being said, I feel like highest priority right now is more heavily weighted toward Vanguard and Strategist. Yes, there are some Duelist priority, but they're pretty interchangeable. So I would say if you are like really just focusing on playing the Duelist role, feel free and feel comfortable to learn quite a few of them because you're going to get to interchange them as is needed. But I would say it's very important to recognize right now that these two didn't get nerfed as much as everybody thought they did. These are still very valid picks. So if you were good with Torch, don't feel like you shouldn't play him anymore because you probably should. If you were very good with Cap and you felt like because of the nerf you can't really play him anymore, think again for sure. You can definitely play with him. Sometimes when I have a Cap on my team, I'll just make sure as Jeff that I can keep him in sight. So I'll kind of like half commit with him just so I can continue to heal him as he's bullying the back line, and then I'll just adjust as needed because he can get out and I can get out too. And that way, you know, because Luna and Ultron are typically banned, at least I can take control of making sure that Cap has an easier time trying to do what he's trying to do. The heal over time bubbles from Jeff on Cap does wonders. Okay, there are ways to do this. Now, ban priority, what we are seeing straight up, it's going to be coming from this pool. We are seeing Magneto, Emma, Wolverine. We're seeing Punisher get banned, and then the bans go pretty much like this. Even seeing some Atom bans. Pretty much this is what we're seeing. Like from both sides of the team, they are trying to take away Magneto from one team. They're trying to take away Emma, Wolverine, Punisher, Loki, Luna, Invis, Cloak, Ultron, and Atom. Legitimately, like this is what we are seeing as far as ban priority goes. And it's really not too far off from what we're already seeing in competitive. We're seeing Luna get banned. We're seeing Ultron get banned. We're seeing Cloak get banned sometimes. Even Emma getting banned too. I would say like the weird thing about the competitive gameplay space right now is that everyone's so scared of duelists, but Vanguards are dealing crazy damage right now too. Like I still do feel like, and I'm just gonna say this out loud, I still feel like people really think that duelists are the only ones that can deal damage. It's just so far from the truth that I am just finding more and more that when people are like, oh, we gotta ban Spidey, or we gotta ban Iron Fist, or ban Hawkeye, I'm just like, come on, man. Like, they're just gonna pick another duelist. All the duelists are dealing crazy damage. I don't feel like any one right now is any particularly better, just like flat out better. People can argue that Hela's the best DPS in the game for poke damage. Okay, maybe, but how relevant is that actually? You know what I mean? Like if Hela's banned, they're just going to be Punisher, extremely valid. It's going to be Star-Lord. They're going to be, you know, Psylocke, wherever she is. You know, I don't know. I just think banning the duelist is just a waste of a ban. It is just a waste. But we're seeing these two get banned in the tournament, and I would say that's arguably just because of how relevant it is and how prevalent it has become that these two are in those games and just doing a ton of damage. So I feel like this is a pretty good list to be looking at. So if you are in fact struggling to decide who to play as, pick from these top two. Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong. I will say that these two are going to be a little situational. You got to have the right team composition and the right, you know, skill level within your team to be deciding you're going to play one of these two. And I don't know how often I would say to pick Mantis if you don't already have Adam present, but you can, but you're going to need two other strategists for sure. And that's the best case scenario. And that's why I would say, like, break yourself out of the concept that you need to have a 2-2-2, because you don't. You can do Magneto, Torch, Psylocke, and then you can do Adam, Invis, Jeff, or Adam, Invis, Cloak, or Adam, Invis, Ultron, right? Having three strategists is not a bad thing. Jeff's doing a ton of damage now. His kit rework brings a lot more damage to the table. Adam does great poke damage. So just saying, I think it's time for everyone to make an adjustment, watch these tournament games, and take that knowledge back to actual competitive play, because I just think that we can all improve by just simply changing who we want to play as and who we're banning. I think we're all kind of like selling ourselves a little bit short here in competitive play by still trying to play against the poke damage meta that's going on right now, when like clearly the most overpowered heroes in the game are Vanguards and Strategists. You know, I know Jeff's like a stat farming tool right now. Like if you play decently as Jeff, you're probably going to get MVP. So I feel like it's kind of a little bit irrelevant, but I'm putting up massive healing numbers with Jeff and massive damage as well. So like if we go back into the game here, let's just go to my history. You know, look at this game, for example. Oh, never mind. Was this a quick play? That was quick play. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let's back up down here. Let's look at this one here. Competitive, Jeff. I'm dealing almost the most damage in the game. Like pretty close, right? Third place. Not by far. I'm not far off from being the highest on our team. Okay, they did more on the enemy team, but good healing, good damage, good final hits here. I got a quad, low deaths. I mean, tell me that this is less relevant than, you know, a duelist. I don't know. Like, look at our Storm. I did better than her as Jeff. I'm just saying. Strategists are more valuable than you guys might think right now. So with that being said, I hope that this video helps you guys make some good decisions in who you're going to start practicing with, and I hope that it helps you progress through the ranks in the way that I have been progressing. So if there's any like testament to the validity of what I'm saying right now, it's the fact that I have leveled up to Grandmaster solo queuing as Jeff. Right? Take my word for the situation here of what I'm saying with Hero Priority. If you guys are enjoying videos like this and you have not subscribed yet, please take a moment to do so. I would greatly appreciate it. Stay tuned for more. I've got a lot more coming ahead, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.